Weld. JB Weld is a two-part epoxy. I think it's gonna work great. But then again, it might be a disaster. Stick around and find out. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Off-Road Hub. My name is Ken. Thanks for joining me today in my freezing cold garage. I do have a little tiny buddy heater going, and hopefully that takes some of the edge off. I can still see my breath though. Anyways, today I'm starting to work on all the little projects I have to do on the FJ since my last trip out. I got a little bit of damage. There's some changes I want to make. So today I'm going to get started on that. Of course, I'm not going to be doing all these things in today's video, but let me tell you what I've got in the works. Some of you may have noticed that I have some body damage, particularly on the doors of the FJ. Now, the doors are replaceable, but I can't really find any that are reasonable cost, and I can't find any that are this color, and I don't want to pay to have them painted. So, I've been trying to figure out how to take care of some of these dents. And I went to a body shop, and they want $1 million to fix dents because they like to replace doors just like I would do. And then to have them actually fix dents, they want a fortune. So I'm actually going to go get some basic body tools, hammer and dolly, and I'm going to do some of my own body work. I'm going to get this stuff fixed and make it at least better than it is. Some more body damage on this side. I've had this dent in here since I was on the Busy Wild Trail. But, you know, I've been watching some YouTube videos on how to do body work, and I think I'll be able to make these dents a little bit better than they are. You can learn how to do anything on YouTube. I mean, I watched welding videos on YouTube, and then I put this whole thing together. So, body work can't be that hard. In addition to that, both of my big factory taillights here are smashed up. They're toast. This is the passenger side one. I smashed that one in San Hollow, if you'll recall. And then this one's not too bad, but it is cracked. It's got a hole in it right here. This is the driver's side. I cracked that one on Outer Limits in Johnson Valley. So I'm actually going to replace those factory type tail lights with these flush mount lights. Just go in there like that. It's going to look pretty amazing. More on that to come. I've got some touch-up painting to do on my rock sliders and on all of my links. I'll get those all freshened up. They'll get smashed on rocks again, but as long as I keep painting them, I should be able to stay on top of the rust and keeping them looking halfway decent. I've also got some detail work I want to do. I want to make this look a little bit better. This is just a big chunk of metal hanging off of here that I chopped off. Same on both sides. Little details like that. I'm also going to be putting a piece of metal on the back of my main skid plate under the Atlas so that when I back up into things, it doesn't catch on things. So quite a few things coming up in the next few weeks. I'll probably also try to dial in my alignment a little bit. And I want to try to get all this stuff done before I head off to the Pacific Northwest. And I haven't posted that schedule on YouTube yet. I've posted it over on Facebook in my Facebook group, which is called Off-Road Hub. But for those of you who aren't on Facebook, I'll get it on YouTube here really soon. But today I need to fix some damage that I did down in Johnson Valley on Outer Limits on my steering system. So my full hydro ram down here is a little bit exposed. The tie rods are kind of exposed to rocks. They could possibly hit things, and that's exactly what I did right here. Now this might not look like a huge deal, and it doesn't even feel like a huge deal, but there's definitely some roughness here where it hit a rock, and this interacts directly with some seals that keep my power steering fluid in. So that's not great. So I went and got some opinions on the internet, specifically on Facebook, in a Facebook group where such things are discussed. And opinions ranged from it's junk, throw it away, replace it, to you can fix it with clear nail polish, to all kinds of things in between. But it seems like the best solution is to smooth out, take out all the high spots, and then fill the low spots with some epoxy rather than clear nail polish. It seems like it's worth trying to fix rather than just throwing it away. At least I think so. And you know the internet is full of opinions. Never trust what you hear on the internet. So I went to Ace Hardware, as you can see, and I got some really super fine sandpaper, 400, some 320, some emery cloth, and some JB Weld. JB Weld is a 2-part epoxy that's gonna fill the low spots on that shaft. I think it's gonna work great. But then again, it might be a disaster. Stick around and find out. So my goal in the end here is gonna be to be able to run my fingernail over this without my fingernail catching on anything. So I'm gonna start by trying to knock off some of these high spots with some emery cloth. All right, it actually already feels quite a bit smoother, so I feel pretty good about the high spots I've knocked off of this. I think it's predominantly low spots anyway, so now I'll clean this really well and then hit it with the JB Weld, and then after that cures, I'll smooth it out some more. So I'm gonna squeeze out a little bit of JB Weld here. Try to get as even amounts as possible. All right, I'm sure that's more than I'm gonna need, but it's better to have a little bit more than you need than not enough, right? So I cleaned this off with some grease and wax remover, so it should be nice and clean and ready for application. I'm gonna be very sparing. Just like that. That goes on nice and smooth. I like it. There's a little spot down here too. All right, that looks pretty dang good. I think I've filled in all the low spots just perfectly. And yeah, I had a little bit too much, but it got the job done. This special tool that I used is a silicone spatula. I'll wipe that off. Elizabeth will never be the wiser. I'll put it right back in the kitchen. No problem there. And we'll just have to wait 4 to 6 hours for this to cure, and then I can sand it smooth and we'll see if we're good to go. All right, guys, well, it's the next day. I've had a heck of a time getting this JB Weld to cure. I put a heater under it, and I think it's finally ready. It's literally about 24 hours later. JB Weld doesn't like the cold. So now I just gotta get this as smooth as I possibly can get it, and we'll make sure it doesn't leak. So I hit it with the emery cloth and then some 400 grit sandpaper, and now I can run my fingernail over it, and it doesn't catch at all. Should be good, probably. So now the moment of truth. I'll start it up and I'll turn it back and forth a whole bunch of times and see if we can see some leakage here. Hopefully I don't see any leakage here. That is the goal. All right, guys, well, I don't see any seepage in that initial test. But of course, only time will really tell if it's a good long-term solution. I'll definitely keep you updated on it. So if you ever hit your hydraulic ram on the rocks and scuff it up like that, this is probably a good, at the very least, temporary fix. Probably, I'm betting it's going to be okay in the long term. But yeah, some JB Weld, smooth that sucker out. It's probably good to go. All right, guys. Well, I didn't cover a lot of ground in this video, but I've got a lot of things that are in the works that are going to get squeezed into these next few weeks. You're not going to want to miss my DIY bodywork. That will probably be very interesting. But thanks for joining me on this one. If you like this, give me a like and subscribe if you haven't already, so I can share new content with you every Monday and Thursday. And we'll see you next time, guys.